episode of Boxing News today. And as usual, if you scour the internet this week in particular, you're going to find stories about a lot of women in the ring. As we lead up to that big fight between Chantel Cameron and Katie Taylor, let's talk about some other fighters around the world who are making headlines as well. Let's start off with a young lady out of Morocco, Moroccan boxer Khadija El Mardi won the heavyweight gold medal back at the World Women's Boxing Championship held in New Delhi earlier this year. Um, Before the tournament, El Mardi won the silver medal at the heavyweight category at the 2022 World Championships in Istanbul, as well as a bronze medal in 2019 Championships in Russia. Uh, but with the win at the Women's World Boxing Championship held in New Delhi, she became the first Moroccan, African, and Arab woman to win an international gold medal in boxing. Quite a remarkable achievement. She also won the gold medal at the 2022 African Championships, which were held in Mozambique, and the 2019 African Games in Rabat. Again, proving that boxing is alive and well in Africa and also features a lot of women going toe to toe. Let's move along then to see, oh, yes, the big debate. Who are the 10 greatest female boxers? So I went to a list provided to me by Freshers. Fresherslive.com is the website if you want to check it out. And at the outset of the year, 2023, they listed these top 10. I would argue in no particular order, but for sake of argument, I'll give you their order of all time. Greatest female boxers. Here we go. Number 1, Clarissa Shields. Number 2, Katie Taylor. Number 3, Amanda Serrano. Number 4, Lucia Reicher. Number 5, Ann Wolfe. Number 6, Layla Ali. Number 7, Christy Martin. Number 8, Regina Heinrich. Number 9, Cecilia Breakhouse. And number 10, Mia St. John, one of my favorites. Then I happened to find an interesting crystal ball story at the outset of 2023 entitled 6 Female Boxers to Watch in 2023. And it was posted on sportsleo.com in their news section. It's quite an intriguing look because the topping that list with a record of 16-0 at the time, Canadian Kim Clavel. And it is somewhat sort of funny, but it basically says, after suffering an injury in 2021 and COVID postponing some fights in 2022, it was up to her big fight with Jessica Neri, which was scheduled to take place in January of 2023. And guess what? She lost. Anyway, so Kim Clavel, we have hopes for Kim to continue her championship run and for her spot somewhere in the top 10 one day. Hopefully that happens coming to us out of Quebec, I believe. Anyway, enough Canadian news for today, I suppose. Number 2 on this list of 6 fighters to watch for this year, Yokastavali. We've talked about this young lady and her remarkable not only evolution of a fighter as a boxer in the ring, but also as a fighter for human rights as well, and her position with the United Nations. We talked about her quite extensively just the other day. Nicaraguan born and now fighting out of Costa Rica. A great gal to watch in the ring and one to look forward to. The third fighter they thought to look out for, who remains undefeated, Gabriela Fundora. Fantastic fighter, now fighting out of Coachella, California, undefeated. Number 4, you're not going to believe this, Ebony Bridges. And as we all know, if you're a fan of mine, if you're a fan of my show, you'll know that she has an upcoming fight against another Australian, Avril Matthew, who now is fighting, though, out of Florida. And this is all the rage, by the way. If you go to any Australian newspaper or online source of news, you'll find that this is dominating sporting headlines. Let me just read what the Australians are writing here. Boxing world champion Ebony Bridges has confirmed she'll be returning to the ring to defend her title against fellow Australian Avril Matthew in a bout she is already calling the sexiest fight ever. Bridges, who's now 37 years of age, has recovered from a hand injury picked up during her mandatory defense of her IBF belt against Shannon O'Connell and is salivating at the prospect of return to the ring against Matthew. The all-Aussie showdown will take place on December 9th at the Chase Center in San Francisco as part of the Devin Haney Regis Progress undercard. And boy, am I looking forward to that one. Now, Avril would have a pretty decent record had she not come up against this next woman, number 5 on the list, Ramla Ali. And I think Avril Matthew would have won this fight against Ramla Ali had not Eddie Hearn been ringside. Anyway, when professional boxer and humanitarian Ramla Ali first started boxing, she didn't know anyone else who looked like her. So male-dominated was the sport. Many of the gyms she trained at didn't even have a women's change room. Still, she persevered, and boxing changed Ali's life. And since then, she has created a foundation called the Ramla Ali Sisters Club. So hats off to Ramla Ali and her continued success in the ring. And rounding out the top 6, Ellie Scottney, now 8-0, fighting out of Britain, a really good fighter in the super bantam division. So there you go, top 6 who were noted at the beginning of 2023 and who are continuing in the ring on several different levels, fighting and struggling to make sure that women are respected, as are their male counterparts. And one of the big struggles, obviously, is 2-minute versus 3-minute rounds, which started off this entire week, quite frankly, when I discussed Katie Taylor's comments on that issue. Now, looking into our crystal ball, we see that there's a Golden Girl Championship, yet another one coming up, taking place in Sweden, starting on February 2nd, 2024. It's the world's largest female boxing tournament, and the reigning champion, Madeleine Angelson, awaits any competitor. So, I might have listed the sign-up page. I know where I put it, on the Talking Fight group page on Facebook. If you pop along there, you'll find the event registration page, boxinghost.se, or contact the guys at teamgolden.se. Good stuff. Lots of championship fighting over in Sweden, taking place in February. And let's move along to something that's happening right now that I just found out about. The Zagreb Boxing Association, that's out of Croatia, is having the first international boxing tournament for women titled the Zagreb Boxing Queen. As I said, that's being held beginning today, lasting for a few days, taking place at the Zagreb Boxing Center at the Fair Pavilion. And they're inviting all to participate, but I kind of doubt you'll be able to make it in time, seeing it's underway. But I just wanted to let you know that boxing for women is alive and well in Croatia, among many other nearby nations, undoubtedly. Speaking of nations who tend to put on a lot of women's boxing events, USA Boxing held a women's championship back in July, which I reported on. And it was interesting to read an article about, as an outcome of that tournament. The USA Boxing inaugural women's championship comes at a time when women's boxing is growing in popularity, noted this particular author, a young lady, I believe. Erin Gottsacker, when she was writing for radio station WYSO, and she was commenting on the struggles that women have had to endure, not just around the world, but in the United States of America. So she begins by quoting Mike Campbell, USA Boxing Manager of Events and Operations. He said, "Say you have two twins that come into the gym at the same time, 10 years of old, male and female. After 2 years, the female boxer will be lucky to have 5 bouts, whereas the male boxer will have close to 10 to 20 bouts under his. So this is a big problem for women in the ring, finding other women to fight. So we are glad to note that there are many championships happening, in fact, around the world, inviting women to participate. I'm sure sponsorship or getting there is an issue, and donations, I'm sure, are easily welcomed by these young women. So Campbell continues, the idea of having a women's only event is there's no waiting around. Most women's events have only one ring, and at that particular event they held in the summertime, they had 3 rings. So there was an opportunity to box every single day. And while there may have been women's only boxing competition before, he notes, they've been mostly standalone events. So hope is for this women's championship to become an annual event. And it's bringing, by the way, more than 200 female boxers of all ages together, along with 170 coaches from all over every state and country from around the world. He said, Campbell said, we have some deep brackets. We've got some experienced international boxers. We've got boxers that you should expect to see in the Olympic Games. And you'll probably see some of the Team USA boxers moving forward as well. So as I was saying at the outset of this particular story, USA Boxing's inaugural women's championship comes at a time when women's boxing is certainly growing in popularity, as I've just noted, by all the different women who are fighting around the world. And women like Clarissa Shields, Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano have headlined at national arenas for the first time and earning 7 figures a fight. It used to be very difficult to even find a women's match on television, Campbell said. But now almost every card has at least one women's bout. But the road to success, he says, was a long one. USA Boxing didn't even recognize female boxers until 1993, when it settled a lawsuit with the ACLU. And that took a long time, much longer than it probably should have, Campbell said, and it set back the growth. Women's boxing didn't debut, as we all know, as an Olympic event until nearly 2 decades later in 2012, more than 100 years after men's boxing was introduced. Now, he says, every time women can compete in the Olympics and little girls see that, it's recruiting. It's sending more girls to the gym. He says female membership in USA Boxing has risen about 12%, and the organization's goal is to continue that growth. Tom Urbina, one of Sophia Billman's coaches, who fights on Team USA and founder of the Toledo Boxing Association, predicts this women's championship will help. The championship, by the way, was held in Toledo. You can believe after this tournament that Jim is going to go crazy with girls, he said. So let's hope it did. For now, though, when the young lady Billman steps into the ring to spar, there are no girls for her to practice with. Instead, a coach pairs her up with a boy. Ready? Here we go. So from Blaze, he calls out, set, box. Billman throws a punch, then another. From the sidelines, says this young writer, a 5-year-old girl watches with her father. She's wearing boxing gloves too. When she gets older, maybe she won't be the only girl in the ring. Wow, what a great story. Fantastic stuff. Just to wind us down here, a headline out of the UK, Natasha Jonas wants to box the winner of the Chantel Cameron versus Katie Taylor rematch to become free weight champ. Natasha Jonas puts her IBF title on the line against U.S. star Michaela Mayer on January 20th, as we all know. And Jonas would welcome a fight with Chantel Cameron versus Katie Taylor Victor later next year at 140 pounds. She'd been more than ready for that, said promoter Ben Shalom. So there you go, fight fans. All the news fit to print today. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We'll see you later on at 4 p.m. when I join Mike Orr at 4 Eastern time for his show Knuckle Up. And if you don't catch us then, we'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern time. And happy Thanksgiving to all my American friends out there. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you later. Thank you.